Hello, my name is Dimas. I'm from Not Afraid channel. It's the series of instability economics. So we will talk about basic fundamental knowledge about economics, and then from that accumulation of knowledge that we have, we will talk about financial instability. So today we will talk about John Maynard Keynes with Keynesian economics. So what's the difference between Keynesian economics and also classical economic? So, and in the future of this video, I will also explain how it works and the comparison and how the applications. So classical theory based on Keynes, actually it works in certain of flavor, but it doesn't work in some recession. However, Keynes belief, and it's very common phrase from him, is like in the long run we are all dead, so we should actually put attention more in the short run. So in Keynesian, he believed that government is needed to regulate the economy. Why? Because the invisible hand doesn't always work all the time. Like the government need to put their participation in monetary and fiscal policy. And for example, after the Great Depression in 1930s, in the recession, people basically all that thought about invisible hand doesn't really work. Why? Because there is a law that called like sticky wages. What does it mean, sticky wages? It means like until some amount of level, basically people doesn't want to work for less money. Not to be confused, let's see on the example. So how is it in the example? Let's see, we have this graph, P as the price or the wages, and GDP itself, which is constituted from the government, spending, customer, and investment, plus export minus import for economy. For open economy. Okay, so the GDP itself, it's come from this formula, and we take one line which is economic in the full productions, or like everyone is employed and very low amount of people who doesn't work. This is what we call it as classical range. Okay, so if you see this line in the white color, this is mean like classical range or full of production. And then during the situation of the long run, this line classical production work in the way like as it used to be, like invisible hand put their hand or their works that if the price goes down, and it will adjust with the salaries goes down and so on. But there is also what we call it as intermediary range, or before it's going to recession. This is the situation where with the lower employment, with the lower salary, people basically also produce less. And then there is also Keynes range. So why it works like that? Because we believe like there are sticky wages. So for some amount of people, or in majority of people, if you watch some of the movie where is Russell Crowe play on it about boxing, there are words like racings to the low, like people basically compete to the low amount of salary. So if you, for example, do you want to work for 1 hour for $5? Some people willing maybe, and then the company like, okay, lowering into $4. No one want to have it, because then what you gonna buy with this amount of money, especially if you have family. So in 1930, in Great Depressions, we know in 1929 the economic of US, it's having 130 billion in GDP. Okay, we call it here as aggregate demand here. But in 1929, $130 billion. However, in 1930s, or during this intermediary range, the GDP is going into $92, or it's gone like around $40 billion less. So as you could see, like how it could be happen, because basically there are situations that it's recession, the investment goes down, the market like collapse. As you know, like this is the beginning of the Great Depressions. People start to not believe on the economic system, and then when the investment going down, the savings and national saving going down, people also in private saving going down, and it's and people start to produce more, and the price of the stuff is going low. However, the income of people also going low. So we draw it in this line, like in green line. So this is how it looks like, the situation. Okay, so in this intermediary range, people start to see like, okay, so basically how it works, like do we people can, the government need to put their intervention or not? There are so many critics, and actually one of them is from Milton Friedman, that see in the situation at this moment, like we are in a gold peg, so the bank or the Fed cannot be the last resort, like the one that provide and bail the economy, because basically they cannot produce more money because they have limitation in terms of gold, so they cannot having like more, like, you know, gold and producing more money. So the situation like this is also criticized from people who are believe in monetaries, like why people do not put more money on it and try to stabilize. But this is the situation. So the economy goes down into 40 by 40 billion, and at this point, like, okay, we cannot rely more to in the invincible hand, because basically like it doesn't work. Like we believe like if the price and the salary low, the people still willing to work, but basically it's not. People start to doesn't want to work because how they could live with such a low amount of wages. And then the situation is getting worse and worse at this point, by the unemployment from 3% go to amount of 9% in 1930s also. And then the situation also getting worse and worse, because then the not only the wages that going down, the unemployment, and then unemployment in 1930s around going to 50%, and the United States economy, which from 130 billion now going to 47 billion USD only in 1930. That's why President Roosevelt at this point see that, okay, government has to take participation. And Keynes is famous like by putting a lot of more program like fiscal policy to support the government. So there are like objective from the government at the time. They call it as work relief and income relief by President Roosevelt. So what's that mean? So work relief basically give the work certainty, like everyone will get their work, everyone will get their job, so everyone have to start to work. Okay. And then income relief, it's like all the money that it's spending for all the activity in fiscal, like I don't know, creating the company, or creating the street, creating the bridge, anything that could make people work and getting more money to buy stuff. So in 1930s this start to work, and all this money that goes there, it should be taken directly to people, and that's the point in 1933. Okay, so here Keynes start to see the impact, like the Keynesian concept start to see, start to have much more sense, because then people start to see like, oh, okay, so it means like we have to start to produce more and getting more money, government spending. But it's also like have a risk. If you want to know what's the risk of Keynes theory, I also make another video about it. Okay, continue. So by the time economic can goes back, and as QF it goes back to the right side, and then going to this intermediary range where the economics start to getting normal in 1940s, then the economics back again to the full employment to amount of 140 billion USD. And by the time actually government then also putting more spending, and also there are like more budget for all the activity, and even the United States going to war, and they produce stuff more that it's like Britain and France buying this product, buying their product. Okay, so the unemployment also goes to very low amount in 1940s to 4.7% only. At this point, like Keynes work, but this is the thing. Keynes work when the economy actually in Keynes range. So if there are too much stimulus or too much fiscal during the process that actually not on Keynes range, it will hit the economy. So a couple of points from Keynes. First, government intervention is needed, but during the process or during the line of Keynes range. And then because of sticky wages, we have to believe like the intervention or the invisible hand will not totally works on the recession period. And then economics, when it's going to this normal situation or classical range, then the classical range can work again and invisible hand will work again. Okay, so that's all for now about the theory of Keynes and how it different with classical economics. Hopefully it helped you guys, and don't forget, if you see it's helpful, please do subscribe. Thank you.